Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to our special Glass Academy webinar celebrating the week of World Interiors Day. Deriving from this year's theme for World Interiors Day, which is the growing generational gap and improved multi-generational future, today's discussion revolves around the timeless elegance of elevating interiors with glass. The focus is on the transformative power of glass in interior design. Glass, with its unique ability to seamlessly blend functionality and aesthetics, has become a cornerstone of modern architecture and interior design. Today, we'll explore how this versatile material can be used to achieve timeless elegance in interior design and touch upon both design and technical aspects. We are absolutely honored to have an extraordinary panel of speakers spanning diverse professional backgrounds and expertise with us today, offering rich insights and perspectives on this theme. Firstly, it's a pleasure to welcome Punita Gopashetty, a versatile interior architect with over 14 years of experience in healthcare, airports, retail, F&B, and residential design, representing Rathi and Associates, Bengaluru. Next, we have Parul Agarwal VK, a young architect, product, and interior designer whose creativity and passion for design extends far more than just spaces, and she is heading Foyer Designs Chennai. Ms.Hetal Iyer is the dynamic national manager, sales, homes and hospitality at Saint-Gobain, who plays a multifaceted role in the world of glass and beyond. Before we dive into today's discussion, may I request each of you to please further introduce yourself and provide a brief overview of your practice and expertise? Punita, maybe?
Yeah. Hi, Hetal. Hi, Rasya and Parul.
Hi.
Rathi Associates started in 1976, one of the oldest firm in Bangalore, maybe in Karnataka, and it was founded by B.H. Rathi in 1976. And we extensively work on residential, commercial, and I have joined Rathi Associates 3 years back, and we started working on aviation. Now we work with GMR, Adani, and recently we have completed Mumbai Airport, and we extensively work with all the developers in Bangalore. And Rohan Rathi is partnered with Rathi Associates. He did his architecture from London University, and he worked with KPM before joining Rathi Associates. And I have done my BR from UBC College. Before joining Rathi Associates, I was with KGD. I worked with Google, Facebook, and Delhi Airport. And I have extensive work experience on commercial, F&B, aviation, and I'm heading the interior department in Rathi Associates. And our focus is on good design and strive to achieve the same. This is about our firm.
Sounds fantastic. Parul.
Hi, Rasya. Hi, Punita ma'am, and hi, Hetal. Nice meeting vibrant set of ladies. Foyer Designs was started in the year 2007 by my mother, Ekta Agarwal, who right now I am also assisting in running the company. So it has been almost 20 years now that we've been running this company, where we first started with a lot of hospitality projects under Apollo Hospitals, which are one of the famous chains of hospitals in Chennai, or started out from Chennai. After that, we moved on to different sectors, as we feel that design is not something that should be only towards or directed towards only one certain typology. So we moved to commercial, where we started doing work for Trivitron Healthcare, another very big company from Tamil Nadu. And after that, we took upon a lot of projects out of the city. And currently, we have also completed a 35,000 square feet commercial complex, which is a mixed-use complex in Kathmandu, Nepal, which is one of our biggest pioneers at the moment, because it was a very big challenge to work from here and move everything to Nepal. But I think our team and together with the client, we were able to achieve the same. Apart from that, we also work on a lot of restaurants, residentials, private villas, renovations, and I myself have studied architecture from Miyasi Academy of Architecture, where I had also met Rasya, who is my senior there. And afterwards, I had moved to Italy, Milan, for a year and a half, where I studied my master's in product design. And I had worked under a company called Barreca e Lavera, who basically have worked on the tallest skyscraper of Milan at that time. After which I officially joined Ford Designs in 2018. And I think there has been no looking back, where I've really grown with this company, because I have seen it as a baby, where I have seen every transformation through it. So I'm very overjoyed that I have got the experience to be and work along with my mother. And I think we're learning and growing every day. And I'm very excited to be a part of this session. And let's see what's in store for us today.
Wonderful. That sounds fantastic. And we are already excited to hear about what are the varied perspectives that you and Punita are going to bring to the table today. Hetal, may I request you to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hi, Punita. Hi, Parul. Hi, Rasya. It's wonderful to be, associated with such wonderful architects. It's my pleasure. I am Hetal Iyer. I'm heading the retail business at Saint Cobain. I also look after the shutters and the mirror business as a whole. I have 20 plus years of experience in home interiors, space, be it furniture, modular kitchen, and of course, now the glass solutions in home and hospitality business.
Wonderful. So let's dive into our discussion for today. Maybe I will start with Punita. You've dealt with a varied clientele by now, certainly. When it comes to interior design, what are the most common asks of your clients? Like, what is the most frequent request that you receive?
As I mentioned, we work with extensive, like all varieties of all verticals of projects. We work with residence, commercial, and all. So, what the main concerns what we get and requirement from the clientele is, it needs to be as spacious. Though they have the small spaces, but it needs to be as spacious, well lit, well ventilated, and also it has to suit their budget. That is very important, and their lifestyle. Though we get an input from them as an architect, we give them our feedback based on the inputs, and we work according to that. We understand ethos of the family and we work accordingly. These are the inputs what we get. Yeah.
I think that's pretty spot on. Of course, they wanted to look larger than life, and at the same time within the budget that they have. I think the best of both the worlds is what we would always aspire to give our clients.
And end of the day, as an architect, we have a responsibility to guide them, train them, how it works in architecture and design. So we take inputs and we understand their ethos and work accordingly.
Right. Parul, if I were to ask you, what for you is your biggest challenge when it comes to designing and executing any interior project, what would be your answer?
I don't know if you've heard that, architects face challenges and difficulties every day in our profession. And I think that challenges is only what makes it exciting. So the challenges can be so many, sometimes it could be just the site, it could be the client, it could be the budget, it could be the timeline. It could be, mostly the contractors on the site, they come in and then suddenly something happens. For example, in Chennai, our weather itself is a challenge sometimes, because the heat is very difficult to allow the laborers or the contractors to work on site. So I think the biggest challenge at that time comes that how we can come up with a quick solution, as architects, and what we can do to sort of make whatever is the challenge at that time, to make it possible and to just go ahead with the project as per the timeline that we have given to the client.
Right. I think and for every time you need to think in the nick of the moment and come up with the best possible way
it's
forward.
Very spur of the moment.
That presence of mind.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And a lot of times there could be unexpected challenges as well. Like right now, you may be
Exactly.
thinking of the most common one, but in your next project, you're again going to see something that you've
Yeah.
not seen
Yeah,
as
it could just
earlier.
be like lifting up a glass door, on the 13th floor in an apartment, and we don't know how to do it because the staircase are small and we cannot do anything about it. So then suddenly you have to get a lift from somewhere, lift the glass partition up, and these things just happen so commonly that now I think as an architect, our role has become to just find the solution to these challenges, which is the biggest challenge. I think that is why I was trying to, emphasize on our profession itself is a challenge every day.
Yeah, I think everyday problem solving is a part of our.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, well, coming to glass, glass is one of the most commonly used building materials. How do you envision the evolving role of glass in contemporary interior design? It's a question for everyone, whoever would like to answer.
I don't know if Punita ma'am or Hetal has anything to say.
So I would just like to pitch in that glass is actually something which has been a part and parcel of interior since quite some years now, and it not only adds to the aesthetics, but it is very easy to clean and maintain. Be it glass shutters or lacquered shutters in kitchens, or the wardrobe shutters, which actually add a lot of to the entire ambience. So and of course the LED mirrors and the UPVC windows. So glass has been a part and parcel of interiors, and it is something which is here to stay. And in kitchens, especially, as you know, that in India we use a lot of oil, water. Maintaining kitchens is difficult. With glass, it is really, really very easy. So it's not only aesthetic but very great on maintenance also.
True, true. I
Uh,
agree.
that's
Especially the kitchen part.
yes,
And also it
certainly.
provides you the openness.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even in wardrobes, if you see now with the contemporary themes in vogue, we see a lot of glass being used in
Yes.
wardrobes also.
I would like to add, like, I think the most recent development or the one that I'm having a lot of fun with is sandwiched glass. Because, like it's something that we can do anything with the sandwich glass. It could be we want to add a texture, an art, a wallpaper, a fabric, anything is possible now with that glass. And so we have started as a practice trying to use these sandwich glasses art pieces in some of our homes, or even in commercial where they can act as partitions, so you get the privacy plus you get like an art in the form of the glass, which I think will be like a next development in all contemporary homes.
With the idea of partitions, you've opened up a topic which would require a dedicated panel discussion. Hetal, could you please share with us possibilities with glass when it comes to partitions that architects, designers, and customers can benefit from?
Partitions actually, in terms of glass partitions, have a great possibility in offices where these partitions can not only add to the acoustics, but it can be a simple and efficient design, very easy to assemble, and you'll have the privacy in terms of the acoustics as well as the light effect. So partitions in offices will play a big role.
Well, I'm sure that that's quite a revolutionary product for offices, especially because you're moving more towards the transparent, flexible, and more visible, good to show kind of an office setup. So I'm sure glass partitions are revolutionizing that. For the longest
In
time,
fact, nowadays we even have these pods which can be used in offices where you can get a complete privacy also and great acoustics. So that is also a trend which we see in offices now. So glass partitions in offices actually is something which we have a very good product, and we see a long way for that. Right. And there's a lot of digital printing which is done on wardrobes also. That is also something I think is a trend nowadays.
Yeah.
Yes, digital printing with backlighting in one place.
Yeah.
So we are using it in Mumbai airport. What we have done is we have digitally printed the landscape on it, and it's backlit. It looks like you are entering into the forest.
Oh, wow.
Because of that glass material and the light and the print, it has given you that natural look inside the space where there is no ventilation. It's like level 3 space.
No, I think that's fantastic because glass in itself has come a long way from, of course, when you talk about fenestrations, there is no other choice but glass, let's say. But over the years, glass has proven to be an inseparable part of interior design, like just the way you said, to partition spaces while creating feature elements, to clad your walls and shutters in a kitchen to make it low maintenance, to segregating spaces, yes, yet have a visual connect. Our kitchens have evolved beyond being spaces that are tucked away. It's taken center stage at homes, and that again makes it all the more important for it to look far beyond functional, at the same time clean. Similarly, wardrobes have have evolved beyond being something to just conceal clutter. Now they are feature state elements as well. You try to incorporate them, either show them off, or you don't even know that there is a wardrobe that exists. So all of these are things that people are experimenting with, and it's absolutely fantastic to see how the design architects and designers have taken glass to these unique applications. So building on that, before we go into the other details, a quick look at the most obvious: windows. Windows are a connecting bridge between the exterior and interior design, and serving as an interior design element that facilitates exchange, experience, and expression. How do you select windows for projects of varying typologies and scales, and optimize the aesthetic and functional harmony between the interiors and exteriors? Like, what is your mindset or the process of selection of windows for any project?
So as you said, the windows plays an important role in aesthetics. And usually the way we select, we have certain the points which we consider before selecting any kind of window. First foremost is typology of project. It's a commercial or the residential, the typology of the project and the required safety concerns. If it's a multi-level building, commercial building, we need to consider certain safety concerns of thickness and wind flow and all those things. If it's a residential, we go with the like non-toughened kind of a glass. And then durability comes in a picture next, like how durable, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the years. Again, there's a constraints about the wind flow, heat, transmission, all those things. And next comes is your acoustical. As you all know, the Bangalore is loaded with traffic now. So you have to consider about the acoustics, the penetration of your sound from the traffic and all those things. And very important is all the clients, the concern is cost. That's most important thing. So these are the constraints what we take into a combination like while selecting the windows. And also like the last one is like the style of architecture, whether it's a classical, contemporary, or the Roman style, or the client needs minimalism, it's really a framed glass. And the most important now, what we are working with the client is on the sustainability. The lot of IT park buildings, what they are getting into is like sustainability, where you can do the energy efficiency. So if the heat transmission from the exterior to interior will be reduced, then your HVAC load will be reduced. So that becomes an energy saving, energy efficient. So all these points which we consider while selecting the windows in the glass.
No, I think that's great, and it's fantastic that you've actually listed out all the different aspects and the intricacies of choosing the glass as well, because windows is a part of both the is as much a part of the exterior as it is of the interiors as well. And then even when it comes to glass, it's not just glass. It's either toughened glass, or it's solar controlled glass, or it's insulated glass, or it's laminated glass, or one-way glass, or some switchable. So I think based on the purpose that it starts with the selection of the glass, then the framework and the whole idea of how it comes together as a design element all play a very important role. Parul, you've already given us a little exciting content on partitions and sandwich glass, but if you could share more about creative ways in which you've been using glass and mirrors in various spaces, especially when it comes to home interiors, would be exciting for us to hear.
So I don't know how many of you have watched the last Glass in Session by Saint Gobain. in which we had showcased one of our residences that we had done, where we had extensively used mirrors and glass. Like, Punima ma'am, mentioned that people have compact homes, but they obviously want the best output. So natural ventilation and things like that is something that is a given that all of us have to give. But at that time, the client was very specific that they wanted the space to look larger than life, right? And so in that case, we used a lot of mirrors and a lot of glass, especially in like the cabinets, in the dining table tops. Even the tinted glass was used very often. Then in terms of the wardrobes, we use the sliding glass again, so that it gives like a nice view into the wardrobe, but it does not look like a compact element in the room. And in terms of the innovation in the mirrors, we had actually, there was like we discussed earlier, there was a challenge on the site where we had an electrical board sticking out at the right in the middle of the living room. And so the challenge was we had to sort of conceal this electrical EB board. And so what we had to do is we had to basically take the mirror, we made it a part like a design in the form of a colonial form, where we gave it a lot of frames around, and then we sort of flushed it with the mirror. So from the outside, it looked like a framed mirror, but the mirror had a push mechanism, which when you open becomes a shutter and it allows you to access into the DB. So this was one such. And then we had sliding mirror that we had used even for the cabinets for the toilet. Because again, a storage is very important for every client, and the storage does not always have to be just in the room. Toilets are some places where storage is very, very important. So over there, we had used the sliding mirror. Apart from that, we also experimented a lot with beveled glass, which was something very new to the client because they were not, exposed to beveled mirrors. So they were like, "Oh, is there something like this?" And then we tried to do different forms of that beveled mirror, whether it was in circle or in rectangle, or in the form of a column. So it was a lot that we experimented, because even the client was very open to it, and so were we, in like understanding or experimenting with the material of glass, or the mirror itself. And I think LED mirror is already existing, but like even things like that, we properly fixed it into the bathrooms, so that it is not a burden for someone who's using it. So it could be even sensor based. So like when they walk in, the mirror just comes on. So sometimes it doesn't have to be the ceiling light that is sensory based. The mirror light itself becomes sensor based. So when you walk in, you have the mirror lit up, which illuminates the space, reflects the light from the bathroom, and then you are able to use it within that small amount of time that you're using the washroom. So these are some of the ways that we tried to experiment with glass or mirror, but I'm sure there is so much. And right now, I think the biggest trend is like textured glass, where we've come up with so many different kinds of textured glasses in terms of checkered, whether it's fluted. Like fluted itself has created a different craze because we have so many thicknesses of fluted right now. Which again we tend to, or clients ask for it, that we want it now, that we've seen this, or it's become very regular. At first it was like, it was a trend a long time back, because when we were in a space which was built by like 1970s, there we had mirrors or glasses of fluted, and now it's come back. So I think glass is also one of those evolving materials that has its trends. It, like, from the back, when you come back to the history from the present, you're able to derive so much from that certain material, which I think is exceptional in a material, because you can reuse it, it doesn't break, and it's absolutely safe. So
Yeah, that's great. Actually, I have to add that I have seen the video, the final output, but I wasn't there for the shoot. So when you told me the area of the apartment, I actually couldn't believe it, because it looked much larger than what the area of the apartment itself was. So I think that's the beauty of using the right materials in the right proportions for the right surfaces to create that impact. For the longest time, glass has been known and cherished for its transparency, tints, translucency. Now, lacquer glass brings a whole new dimension to the application of glass in design with colors. How do you see this product change the way we apply glass to interiors?
Lacquered glass, in fact, plays a very, very important role in interiors. Be it kitchens, which earlier were only using transparent glass, where you had to actually be very careful because you couldn't hide clutter with the transparent glass. But with the lacquered glass, not only they enhance the ambience and the aesthetics of the kitchen, but you also get a longevity, and because of the shiny surfaces, your kitchens really look pristine and beautiful. You can either use a white lacquered glass, which will make it look super premium, or you can add a pop of color. Even the backsplashes in kitchen can be used in glass. In fact, that is a trend right now. Similarly, lacquered glass also can be used very well in interiors, in furniture spaces, be it a tabletop, a dining table, which can have a funky lacquered glass as a top, even wall paneling. In fact, in very contemporary homes where you have neutral hues, we can add a bit of color with wall paneling. These are not only something which will add to the aesthetic and the ambience, but also will be very long lasting and very, very low maintenance. So, lacquered glass plays a very, very important role in interior spaces, be it wardrobes, kitchen, or furniture pieces. In fact, we have our Color Max range of system through which we can bring out lacquered glass in any shade. We can offer lacquered glass in any shade. So this is something which is here to last. It's a trend, and we see a lot of possibilities with lacquered glass in interiors.
So anything from the Pantone, we pick it and you can create lacquered glass with it.
Absolutely. As I said, be it a pristine white or a pop of color, anything which is required, architects and designers really can play with it, and the interiors can have a different dimension altogether.
Um, Building further on functional aspects, Hetal, shutters are no longer merely designed to conceal clutter. They have become an integral part of homes, and they play a crucial role in the look and the feel and organization of space. What are the different types of glass that can be put to use for shutters?
So of course we have the good old clear glass, but now as Parul was mentioning, the trend is towards fluted glass, tinted glass, lacquered glass. We have a plethora of colors through which, in fact, it can be completely customized. It can be any shade, so it's completely customized lacquered glass. So we have so many options in glass which can be done in terms of the shutters, and in terms of wardrobes, as they were mentioning, we can do infills also. Infills can be a wallpaper, can be a wooden infill, can be a digital printed. So, I mean, it's not just a simple glass, but now it has taken a different dimension altogether.
Right. Lacquered glass shutters are very durable options. They are now available in toughened variants as well, so they can go for high impact use. There's a common concern that they generally fall on the higher end of the cost spectrum compared to other shutter materials. Could you share with us about the factors that actually affect the cost? Can that be brought under control? If we stick to standard color palettes or you go for custom ones, how do we plan around this?
So actually, the cost in terms of glass is no longer very, very high. It's almost as comparable to maybe say an acrylic. And if we use very standardized palettes, they're very, very cost competitive. And if you look at the maintenance on long run, the cost over years is actually much economical than the other materials, where you would end up spending very high on maintenance, or at times in wood there would be a need for replacement also, if you look at the MDFs of the world and all. So in that way, glass is very, very cost competitive. But if we need some custom colors, maybe there will be an additional cost. But otherwise, it is something which is not only durable, aesthetic, but now very, very in budget also.
Right. Right. And I think it's also key about whether it is engineered well, right? So I believe if done properly, you can even work with 4 millimeter thick glass. So then that again makes
And
your
we can get a seamless finish. So the finish also will be good. And of course, the durability is something which, due to the high level of testing, that's never a concern.
And then the moment, so if it's thinner, the sections, then it's lighter. Then again, the engineering required for it can be sleeker, and I think that way is also something you can control costs. Punita, have you used glass shutters in your projects? And what are for you the most important aspects while making a choice of material for shutters?
Now the trend is like, you remember the office spaces used to use a gypsum partition earlier. Now everything is being changed to replaced with glass so that it gives you an openness. The most of the clients, what they come and ask is like foldable glass shutters where they can fold it, they can use it's in a multifunctional area at Beacon, especially in the commercial, IT, office spaces and all. It's playing a major role. Glass has taken up the major part of it. It gives you an openness. And also for residential project, as Parul mentioned, we started using the mirror to make it the space larger. So even in our office, like Rati Associates, when you enter, you see a large mirror at the entry. And when I go out of the conference room, again, you see the space looks so big using this mirror, glasses and all. And also we started using a lot of glasses for the shutter, wardrobe shutters, as she mentioned it. And also the thing is changed to a glass shutter itself. And the office spaces we are using it. Residential also, like some people, they come and ask us, like, we can go ahead with the glass shutters with the frosting. And also she mentioned sandwiched. And now you get that jute kind of a thing, which can be sandwiched.
Yes.
And you get a natural
cane sandwich, yeah.
Yes, cane sandwiched and that leaf sandwich. Natural material can be put inside and sandwich glass. So there's a lot of options we can give the client and provide the multiple options with the glass. So shutters, yes, and the partition, and it gives you a transparency and the space looks larger. And we suggest them to go for the lacquered, what is it, back painted glass, fluted glass, and the one more glass, what it's called, tinted glasses where they need little transparency. So extensively, we are using glasses and shutters and the partitions.
Fantastic. Parul, apart from being an architect and interior designer, you also have experience as a product designer. We are curious, have you experimented incorporating glass into any of your furniture or product designs?
I think glass is such a cool material, because it's very experimental, I would say, because you always think there's something that you can't do with it, and then it's just suddenly possible. So one like example would be like there's a table in our reception itself in our office, for which actually we didn't want it to be very bulky. So we wanted something that's like light and it's also elevated from the floor, right? But then how would we make it possible if it doesn't have a support at the bottom? And so we decided to use the glass as the legs for the table. And surprisingly, if anyone tries to move it or, tries to do anything with it, they cannot believe it that it's actually standing on just like two 8 mm thick glasses, because we've sandwiched the two glasses and we've used it as a base all around the rectangle frame. So it basically floats in the air with the envision of the glass, which is transparent, and it looks so nice because then it's like downlit from the bottom, and then you have the whole perception that it's just floating. And then because we do a lot of jewelry showrooms, and obviously
No, I thought you was I've seen your reception table, and for some reason I thought that it's mirror at the bottom.
No, it isn't. It's just glass. And that too, this was about 7, 8 years back when we decided to make it. So it was just like a quick thing that we decided. And like I was saying, now that we do a lot of jewelry showrooms, they have a lot of glass that they require, especially because we have to showcase the showroom. So there was this one showroom where we've done a completely curved glass, where again, it was something that we thought would not be possible at all, because we've not found many vendors who do curved glass very easily, because they're like, oh, you can't bend it. We need this much heat and this and that. But then when it came out properly bent, like it was like almost 45 degrees bent, and like at an angle, it was bent and it was curved and put on the display cabinet. It looked amazing because first of all, glass itself makes it look very nice because it's very light. And secondly, because in the curved form, it gave it a completely different shape. And I think that is the thing with glass, because glass shelves are something that is very common, but nowadays people want the bent glass shelf alone. There is no support of MS, there is no support of wood. It's just the glass alone that acts as the, the star of this entire thing. So there is a lot that can be done with glass, and we don't just experiment with glass, but so many things associated with glass also. Like I already mentioned, like the sandwich glass is one of our, biggest forte right now, where we try and put it in different places, so that we can experiment with what all we can do. Like the cane glass is something that everyone is using in shutters, but then we can also sometimes just make it as a table if you bend it. And I don't know if it is possible, which we need to experiment. But I think if you just make a single table of just the cane glass in sandwich, I think it would look so pretty and so beautiful, because it would just be like an element where you could feel like the cane is just floating, right? So I think any product where you want to give a very floating experience or a very elevated experience to it, I think glass is like the best option for it.
Right. No, I completely agree. And I think the beauty of it is the transparency, the seamlessness, and the fact that it's there, but it's still not there. So the moment you prop it up with way too much of engineering, then I think it defeats the purpose. So the detailing needs to be that way that you can enjoy the properties of glass. Um, uh, uh, Another question for Punita. How do you address safety and durability concerns, especially while incorporating, larger expanses of glass in high traffic zones? Because you've dealt with airports, high hospitality projects, commercial projects, etc. So how do you deal with that? Because while we understand that glass has evolved, but a common perception is definitely about, is it safe? Do I need more grills to it, or do I need to prop it up further?
Yes, the what suggestion we give as an architect is the main is size. Based on your building, the size proportions, based on that specification is very important. As I mentioned, it has to be 8 mm, 10 mm, 12 mm. That's service the safety part, and variety of glasses we get. We suggest variety of glass based on the requirement of the project, where the your safety can be addressed, and irrespective of the location of the, like, whether we are recommending it in balcony or the facade or the partition, it has to be like thought through the requirement and the usage of the area. We suggest them to go ahead according to the specs and the sizes. And also, for example, you might have seen that in New York, one summit 100 floors, they have used the flooring, wall and ceiling, complete thing is a glass. In New York Summit, it's in 100 floor. And also for residential, when it comes to the residential, if you see now, like in the like old school style, like we used to have a grills for the windows. Now we suggest our clients not to go for a grills, because you are getting that safety from your glasses. And also, like, for example, we are working with JCC Adani. It's a joint control office which controls the complete airport, the aircraft that comes to the Mumbai airport. That project we are doing it there. The electrical controlled some system is there. When they get the people, VIP people, they click on one button, it becomes enough clear glass, and in one button it becomes in a frosted. It's gives an amazing, that Bollywood kind of a look and feel over there.
Right.
Yeah, based on the size, specs, variety of glasses we suggest.
Right. So I think that way you answered about impact resistance, about extended transparency, as well as the option of switchability to translucency or opacity. So I think you name it, you can always find a solution within glass. So that's certainly no doubt. We've spoken about storage, we've spoken about kitchens and clutter and all these serviceable areas. I think bathrooms also are an integral element, part of interior design, and they've also evolved far beyond being functional spaces, but elevating the aesthetics for bathrooms has also taken center stage. It's about personal well-being. And what are the elements in a bathroom that you often experiment with in your designs? So Either of you can take that answer.
So I think usually we tend to experiment a lot with the tiles and the marbles that we use on the surfaces of the walls of the bathroom. Also, in terms of the partition for the bathroom, which is the cubicles, we tend to now go inside more of the framed, glasses rather than just the glass partition itself, and having those fittings that are not so aesthetically appealing. Now we have gold frames, we have black frames, which all can be combined with these tile designs. And in some cases what we also do is there's a certain tile that we get, like like a certain form, like a hexagonal or like a different kind of form. We tend to make the mirrors also matching with the same. So then what happens is it gives a very quirky look to the toilet. Another thing is that we do is nowadays we are working a lot with the ceiling, wall and the flooring all being in the same line with each other. So then it's very appealing and very it's very maintenance friendly, because again toilets are something that you have to keep it clean, right? So experimenting or doing anything with the material without understanding its maintenance is very, very important. So there was also one toilet where, in a case where we had like a walk-in wardrobe and we had the toilet space. So there was just a glass partition that was dividing the two, which was just frosted. And we also had the same system where we could just frost it or make it clear at one switch or a button. So it just acts like between the walk-in wardrobe, when you want the privacy of the person sitting inside the toilet, they could be having the the frosted effect. And then when the same person is using the walk-in wardrobe and the toilet, you can even make it clear so the walk-in wardrobe also looks larger, because in that case then you have durability of the material. Apart from that, the storage I'd already mentioned, that storage is very important for all clients, especially in the toilets, to just keep, their toiletries or their linen wear. So, when a storage, if we do, we tend to plan it in such a way that either it's something with the mirror design or it goes under the counter of the wash basin. So then it looks very sleek and compact and does not take too much space. So clutter-free design is the best for, I think, a bathroom design.
Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of utilitarian storage that comes with bathrooms, all the cleaning equipments and everything, besides a few things that actually look nice to be kept outside. So definitely having comfortable and accessible locations to put them in is important. And like you said, the shower cubicles, integrating the look and feel of that with the surfaces of the tiles, then mirrors. Also, because these are in the larger scheme of things, the tinier areas allocated in an apartment or a house. So how to make them feel brighter and again larger than they are is certainly important. While there are a number of options for enclosures, we'd like to hear from you, Hetal. How can we simplify the selection and installation process for shower cubicles?
So shower cubicles are now a very important part of bathrooms, because hygiene now is of paramount importance. So segregation of wet and dry areas is now become very, very important, which we can pick and select. We have our sales team who can actually go and take measurements and do the installation also. So it's an end-to-end solution which is being provided. So it's not at all complex. There is a wide variety, but it can be a pick and place. And of course, these shower partitions are something which are very, very durable. They are provided with an easy to clean coating, because of which the cleaning process is very simple, and it is almost literally maintenance free.
Right. And of course, another very important part of it is it being watertight. Now, all bathrooms are not going to come with the exact perfect tile drop or a floor wall 90-degree ratio. There can be all sorts of issues on site. So can we still mitigate those and manage to have an efficient shower cubicle?
Yeah, so nowadays we have a threshold, which is an additional thing which can be provided along with the shower cubicles, because of which we can make it more and more watertight. So if there is a tile drop, well and good. Otherwise, we can provide a threshold to manage that water tightness.
Right. Yeah, because especially in square or smaller bathrooms, that having one square with a tile drop is a rare sight. And also, I
And
think
in fact,
even
partitions work much. There's a feeling that partitions are better in larger bathrooms, but in fact, they work much better in smaller bathrooms where there's a space constraint. Even a single partition really is very, very helpful for maintaining that segregation of areas.
I think finally it's about dry, semi-dry, and wet segregation, and that's hardest in a tiny bathroom. So that's where these play an important role. We've covered a lot of ground today, but there's still a lot more to explore, especially when it comes to the realm of glass. But I'll just have a few questions that will help us wrap up this session. Given glass's versatility and wide applications in building spaces, but still several myths and misconceptions around glass exist. Even misconceptions that we could probably debunk together for a better understanding for young designers and clients around glass. Maybe people are commonly have issues about safety. I think when it comes with glass, that's definitely a myth to debunk, or even it being brittle, or is there something that appears as a concern?
It's mostly about, people just thinking it would break. And because a lot of our clients are now, I would say the younger generation, they also always have this fear that, it would just break, or, is it safe? Is it okay for a commercial space to have so much glass? Won't it just look like it's, isn't it going to just block the space? And I'm like little startled sometimes when someone has these kind of questions, because glass is something that does not block or, close any space. It just makes it bigger or larger. And I think the thing with glass is because it is sustainable now, so we can use it in any kind of facade. It is insulated now, so you can basically allow heat to be controlled through it. It is acoustic, so even if you want certain cabins to be completely private, we can make it completely private by not allowing any sound to come in or out of the cabins. So I think glass as such has a lot of properties which people don't experiment with, just because they think, one, it might be expensive also, because a lot of people think, like lacquer glass for per se, like people think because it's colored it would be more expensive. We also used magnetic glass, something that we can just go and stick on things. So instead of like having bulletin boards or something, why not just move to something which is magnet friendly? So even something like that, they would be like, oh, is it possible? Does it work? What is the magnet that work on it? And I mean, like, the thing is, everyone should just be open to giving a new material a try, because something like glass, like I said, is so durable, and like you can recycle it, because at any point of time you take the shreds or the shards and you can sort of like redo it. Because even there was a time when there was tinted glass and painted glass, so people were painting over glass. So it is not something that it is something that you just need to put in a partition or just use it in a window. It's something that you can do so much with it, but it's just that you have to get to the thing of that, yeah, I'm ready to experiment. So getting the person to understand that is what we have to do as designers, because we have the role of actually explaining them that these are the good things and the bad things that come with the glass. And another thing someone was telling us about was the cleaning, right? How often do you think I need to clean the glass? So for that also, I know that there are techniques in glass where they are touch friendly, like no matter what you do or you touch it, the stain does not stay, even a fingerprint does not stay. But then again comes the thing like budget, where you should be willing to spend that kind of money also. Otherwise, there is a certain maintenance which is required, and if you follow this procedure, maybe it would be okay to do so. So I think it's all about us and how we convince the person, rather than everyone's going to have their doubts. So it's just that, like, how often we use the material and how easily we can convince them, I think is the only solution towards this.
Right. I think you have touched upon all these concerns of breakage, heat resistance, sound resistance, maintenance. I think that could first come to anyone's mind when we speak of glass and transparency. So it's fantastic. Hetal, with glass technology constantly evolving, are there any recent innovations or advancements in glass and glass products that you find particularly exciting for the future of the construction and design industry?
So we see a lot of innovation which is happening in the field of glass, be it the self-cleaning glass or the smart switch technology where you can toggle between privacy as well as light control. You have various layers of insulation which can be provided for better sound control. You have various coatings which can be provided on glass for better UV control to protect the fabric and the furniture. And of course, there is acoustic control. So there is a lot of innovation which is happening in the field of glass.
In fact, we are doing a lot of glass railings also in the balconies or in, so that is an area where safety is also very important. There is wind pressure. So glass railings is also something which is here to stay with all the both the homes as well as in the builder segment.
Right. In fact, speaking of railings, I recently had a conversation with Ms. Vijaya from Ostraka, Bangalore, and she had mentioned something that very unique that she tried with railings. While we know that railings, of course, you use it for staircases and for exteriors, but she has used it in offices instead of the partition between the reception area and the main area. So turnstiles and just railings. So she was speaking about how that still does the job because it takes care of. There just needs to be a visual or a little bit of a barrier, but not entirely one. And people really like to show off their offices. So that's also really catching up. So a lot of possibilities again, but time is limited, so we'll have to come closer to the end of the session. Punita, if I with your extensive experience in the field, what advice would you give to young designers just starting out in the industry and willing to experiment with the wonder that glass is?
I would suggest them first thing foremost, follow your passion and let the concept flow, let the ideas flow, freedom for the design, get the thought to be like freedom for your thoughts, and the design is radical, but it needs to be a functional. Function follows the form.
Right.
And as an architect, like we need, like the people will have a trust on us, and we need to give them the product, which is like has to be a functional, aesthetical, all those aspects we have to consider while doing any kind of a design.
Right. So I think the idea of dreaming and then working towards making it happen
Working towards the yes.
is very important. If you already thinking that this may not be possible or this may be too difficult, then anyway, the other side is willing to further beat it down as well. So I think it's important to be ambitious and try to urge people to think freely. So fantastic. Thank you so much. This brings us to the end of this insightful session. Thank you for your valuable contribution. Your expertise has truly enriched our understanding of the role glass plays in transforming and elevating interior spaces. On behalf of all of us at Glass Academy and Ethos, we deeply appreciate your valuable time, and once again back requesting you to share some photographs of some of your works that spoken about today. It would help us put out your thoughts better to a larger audience on social media, etc. So we will touch base with you for that as well. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.